LeBron James was in the news, and for multiple reasons. So the one I want to talk to you about was LeBron made some comments about the play-in tournament, and he talked about how the play-in tournament was essentially a waste of time. It shouldn't exist. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said something along those lines that got a lot of ire from NBA fans of teams that are not probably not doing as great. Not my team, because my team's just not even close to being in the play-in tournament. Go Cavs. But what do you think about those comments about LeBron saying the play-in tournament's a waste of time, shouldn't even be happening? It's bad for the game.
So what he said was, he said, and I quote, "Whoever thought of that shit should be fired." That was the unexplicit. That's the unexplicit quote, of course. That's directly quoted. Now, my take is, first off, it's funny how it comes around full circle. A couple months ago, he was talking about how it was a great idea. It was a great idea. Let Sacramento, let Portland, let those teams that are, on the cusp, let them battle it out for a playoff spot, right? That was nice when you were sitting in the one spot and you probably weren't going to have to see any of those teams, right? In a one and done scenario. Now, all of a sudden, when you find yourself on the cusp of that play-in tournament and you are potentially a Steph 50 piece away from getting from sitting home and watching the playoffs, now all of a sudden it's a bad idea. I think he's being a little bitch, and I also think that because of how far
Jesus, come on.
I think
now.
Because of how far. Listen, man. Because of
I was
how
that
far,
angry. That was unnecessary, my guy.
because of how far the Lakers have fallen, I just think that he kind of sees the writing on the wall, and he realizes that he's 37 years old, or 36, or however old he is now. He doesn't recover as fast. Mind you, if this was like a couple years ago, no issue, because he would be able to come back from this injury, activate playoff mode. His playoff mode, because of the injuries, the injuries, if he activates playoff mode, his playoff mode at this stage in his career is not the playoff mode of 10 years ago. Therefore, he's not going to be able to have the same impact. He's going to need his teammates to step up. And frankly, his teammates have shown, even in his absence, and given how they've gone in this losing streak, that they can't. Anthony Davis is not producing the way he should be, though they are trying to ease him back in from his injury. Kyle Kuzma, I don't know why. I think his name is bigger than his game at this point in his career. Dennis Schroeder, he's good, but Dennis Schroeder, there's a reason why I don't think Dennis Schroeder can really lead an offense. Everybody else, dude, is, Danny Green's gone. He was a championship pedigree. He was a glue guy. I don't see them making that big run that a lot of people think they're going to make. And his comments about the play-in tournament, it being dumb, it being a bad idea, that's him showing his hand now. He's scared. He realizes that I think he realizes now that if they get to the playoffs, dude, listen, think about what their road would have to be. If let's say they're in the play-in, let's say they survive the play-in, right? Who would they have to play? Probably Phoenix in the first round or Utah in the first round, right? Then if they win that series, you got to play either Denver or Portland, a team like that. Not an easy series. Then you got to play probably who? The Clippers, maybe in the conference finals. And on top of that, let's say you survive all that stuff with all that wear and tear. Then you got to play who comes out of the East, which is either going to be Brooklyn, Philly, or Milwaukee. Outside chance of the Knicks, but you get the point. Is you don't have an easy road to a championship, and given how he's not as young as he used to be, the injury is clearly, I don't think he's ever going to be 100% again. The injury history,
yeah, even he said he wasn't going to be 100% ever again.
So I think he realizes the writing is on the wall, and it's a lot easier to say, oh, the play-in tournament's a great idea when you're not going to have to worry about it. Now, when literally, dude, let's say they're in the play-in tournament. He is potentially a Steph Curry 50 piece away. Steph going off for 50. He's that away from watching the playoffs from his couch in Malibu.
I mean, you said a lot there. One of the things I will agree with you on is that I think now that the shoe's on the other foot, so to speak, that LeBron is kind of changing his tune. Right, because he didn't expect to be playing in the play-in tournament. He didn't expect to be the 7th seed right now, but alas, he is.
Can I interject real quick too? Just
go ahead.
I want to interject. I'm sorry. Let me just interject real quick too. Those teams that he mentioned he would have to play against, right? The Sacramentos, the Memphis, the even Golden State. Steph might be a little bit older, but young teams, right? LeBron is 36. He's got veterans on his team. You understand those are teams playing with house money. Those are young guys. Listen, LeBron at 36, 37, he's not going to dive on the floor for a loose ball. Whereas Ja Morant, you got the stars on these young teams like the Ja Morants of the world. You know what I'm saying? The Ja Morant, even Dame. Those guys are going to dive on the ball for like dive on a loose ball if it means like staying in the playoffs. LeBron at this stage is not diving on a loose ball. Outside of Alex Caruso, who only has 6 fouls to give, nobody on that Laker team is going to do that. So therefore, those other teams are going to play harder. And in a one and done scenario where if a guy gets hot, which Steph could get hot, Morant could go off and drop 40. You got something like that, especially with young upstart teams that they might be a step quicker just because they're young. Like young teams are willing to do the extra to stay in, and because they're young, it doesn't take as much of a toll on their body. That's what he's worried about. You got a team like Sacramento, dude. De'Aaron Fox could go out and drop 40 on you, and De'Aaron Fox will dive on a loose ball. So that's another thing you have to take into account is because this Laker team is older, they're not willing to do the extra that it takes to stay alive.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, we'll have to see. He's going to have to play in it. So, well, it looks like he's going to have to play in it. So, better get ready one way or another. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.